Well. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome to a Waaaay Offsides quick shot, instant reaction. Got Parker here from Couchcasters with me. Bama has just wrapped up 42-10 win over the Badgers of Wisconsin in Camp Randall Stadium. This win. Happy to go on the road and get a nice victory. A few guys got bumps and bruises coming out of there. Quay got hurt. Richard Young looked like he got hurt. Not sure how serious they are. They definitely got dinged though. But
the Quay injury it concerns me.
Yes, I agree.
I'm hoping it's more so ankle related than knee. It's looking like that might be the case. Definitely concerning on that point. I know a lot of people have heard about Richard Young. We have three. Hey, roll tide, man. I see Richard Young. I know what they say that everybody talks about jam and justice. I think they being like a 1A and a 1B. I really think Richard is probably the 1C, if not that second guy. It's unfortunate to see him go down. And then Malachi, like you said, he went down with an injury too. Looked like a head injury, maybe a concussion of some sorts. I don't know. Did
Justice Haynes get hurt? Because he didn't look like he played at all after early in that game.
I do not. He only had two.
Yeah, I mean, he had two big truth. He had several good plays early in the game, and then we never saw him again.
Blew my mind on that because I saw two or three, and I was actually just talking with my dad about that. I was like, he made the statement when the third quarter started. He's like, we just got to get back to running the football. Well, what do you know? We started running the football, and then Jam takes one for about 35 for a touchdown. And I was like, they're not going to be able to, stay with that. Now, I do have some issues on how some of the. I mean, I know everyone's going to be like, well, you won 42-10. The thing about it is, you're never satisfied. I saw some issues. We were having issues stopping that run today, and. Can we have a moment of silence for Mike Norvell? No, you're right.
Instead of 10-year extension, it might get canned.
Yeah, I think they're kind of
awesome.
Stuck on that. They're gonna have to ride this train for at least 5 years before they go down that road.
Tim is dead on here. That was a big thing I noticed was very high tackling, which allowed for extra yards after contact. And then the linebackers just weren't in the right spot a few times. I'm not a defensive coordinator, obviously, but there were some gaps there. There's some holes there that were exploited a couple of times. I mean, the defense played pretty well. Another 15-plus play drive. That's what, three of those in the first three games, 3 or 4 of those by the opponents in the first 3 games. That concerns me. I don't like.
Dad had mentioned that. He's like,
I don't like that.
They had a 17-play drive. I don't care if you're playing against, Furman or that. Yeah. There's a lot of things. I mean, I think we played well, and we did better than what I expected as far as how much we were going to win by. But I think actually Scott called that on the episode on Thursday. He said that we should just absolutely go in there and throttle them, which we basically did.
We did. And this point here. Yes, with all 5 starters in, there was a noticeable difference in the quality of offensive line play. Like jump off the screen noticeable when the 5-1s were in there. I mean, progress was being made down the field. Milroe had days to throw the ball at times with those guys. I mean, it was a huge difference, and even Brailsford even played better with the starting 5 or the other starting 4 around him. I mean, the whole unit just played so much better together today. I was very impressed. Proctor, I thought, looked very good. His first game action of the season. I thought he looked, we never called his name once in the whole game. Never said his name once in group text. We never mentioned his name in group text. So that means good things if you never mention their name.
Yeah, to your point, I'll second that. I think the offensive line, they obviously with all the starting 5 was a lot better. Your true 5. Let me try to think. As far as having time, he had plenty of time a lot more time to pass the ball. There were a couple of his decisions I was still kind of like, why are you waiting so long? Come on, your first and second and even third read weren't there, and he still looked hesitant. And then he did take the ball, did pull it down and start running. But on another one, it cost you one drive. He didn't get the first down, and he kind of hesitated, and that 1-2 second hesitation cost him a first down.
Yeah.
Now, does it matter in this game? No, obviously not. You can see by the score. In 2 weeks, it might. So
there were a couple of plays where he ran the ball. It was always like it's predetermined. And then even on that 3rd and 5 play early in the game where we missed the field goal. Come on, Graham Nicholson, you got to be better than that. I mean,
he's got to make that. I agree.
That was a chip shot. He wasn't even close. He drilled that thing. As soon as it left his foot, I was like, son of a.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I was very yes, it concerns me with those big play drives. Sorry, Parker had to step off for a second, but the long sustained drives, and it concerns me. Usually this year we've been giving them up field goals at the end of those, and they don't always end in touchdowns. But the thing is, our offense is so explosive that we're right back on the field on defense within a handful of minutes, because we'll either 3 and out or we're 3 and score from wherever we are on the field. Don't have any long sustained drives or anything like that. So I don't know. It's interesting. They bend a lot, don't break a lot. They bent a few times today. Gave up 149, 159 rushing yards today. That's not good. Wisconsin has some good running backs, has some good players. Losing their quarterback certainly helped. We did stop him on that 3rd down on that drive. He got hurt on that play. He got hurt. We did stop him, and then Damani got that defensive holding, which gave them a first down, which led to their field goal. But anyway, I don't know how much different it would have been with Van Dyke playing. He certainly was bigger, but that kid that came in for Van Dyke, I thought played pretty well. I mean, considering he held the ball a long time, a few times, and it almost cost him dearly, but the better team won. We wore them down towards the end. The end of that game, we were just running the ball, and man, they couldn't stop. We should have really stayed in between the tackles running all game. Anytime we tried to stretch, seemed that Wisconsin had speed to get to the edge, and would shut it down. Although Milroe's touchdown was a stretch play, an edge play, but we seemed to really do much better when we were north-south between the tackles. I just didn't think they could handle the beef up front.
Agreed. Sorry, I had to dip there for a second. But yeah, like I saw a lot of improvements. But now, yep.
Thank you. Yes, hit the thumbs up. Yes, Derek Meadows. If LSU goes down, bring Meadows home. He wants to play with Keelan Russell.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
What else did you see today, Parker?
Ryan Williams being Ryan Williams. I can say that. I mean, that
kid is a beast. He cooked that cornerback on that touchdown. Like, bad.
Just remember, guys, the kid is 17 years old. He should be a senior in high school. I'll say this, and this is probably a little biased, but in the time, we are all or nothing on defense. Yeah. Herb and Rod.
Herb and Rod. Thanks, Herb.
Gotta love
what are you saying now? In the time,
dadgum, I lost my train of thought.
No, that's all good. Sorry, I distracted you with the
all good.
Pop-up. Yeah. Hollywood was legit. He cooked number 5. He didn't get the ball really. He didn't touch the ball much. I don't know. I don't know if it was just the play calls, just the way the game was going. It was, he got the punt return late in the game. But he got that. I think after that reverse, he didn't touch the ball after that reverse. Which, please don't ever do that play again. If you're going to reverse Ryan Williams, let him hit to the sideline. I don't want him cutting back into the guts of the defense where bodies are falling on him. Stuff. That's how you roll an ankle or Quay get.
And he's not big enough. And he's not big enough. I
don't like wide receiver reverses anyway.
Yeah. And we tried to do that jet touch pass, and he tried to cut it up too there, and I was like that. I see that all the time on the college football game now, and I hate it every time they try and cut it short. Just stay on the outside. You're gonna get at least 6 or 7.
Yeah.
If it's played right. But
Yeah. Eric has a good point here, Parker. Like once again, there were a couple of plays where
yes.
a good throw is a touchdown for Wisconsin.
Oh yes,
two plays,
100%.
And I believe last week there were 2 or 3 that a good throw is a touchdown for South Florida. So Eric's onto something there that that this is a problem. It's been a problem. We're going to get burned by this at some point if we keep letting these receivers get behind us.
What happened last year too? Texas did the same thing. They kept getting right behind us with that Worthy kid. And I mean,
Ewers doesn't miss throws like that.
Yeah. And guess what? The guy we play in 2 weeks doesn't miss it either. Doesn't miss it too much either. So yeah, we're 0-0 right now. Going in 2 weeks, we are 0-0. Record
this
being.
This is a good question here.
I
think offensively with the big 5 offensive linemen, with our starting 5 offensive linemen, I think we can offensively. Defensively, we're going to have to shore up. We can't be so vulnerable up the middle. I noticed, when we blow up the protection, man, we're in 3 yards deep. But too many times, it's almost like a delayed handoff or delay where they'll make one little cut and then they'll be through that first line and into the second line.
Well, that was my problem too. We actually had one. What was a big loss today? It was like 3rd and 15, and somehow they complete a pass. Or I'm sorry, it was like 2nd and 18, and they complete a pass, and then it makes it 3rd and 4, and they converted. I was like, how does that happen? You can't stop them more than. I mean, I know it's tough with these offenses nowadays, but I don't see many people converting these 3rd and 15s unless it's against Alabama. I don't know what the issue is.
A lot of bending, not a lot of breaking, but a lot of bending on the defense, and not a lot. But LT Overton, I thought was a monster today. I thought he played out of his mind today. Keenan was in several plays in the backfield, but then there are plays where they don't make any noise. And the pass rush concerns me a little too. A lack thereof, a consistent pass rush. Now, Q Robinson made a great play when he beat the left tackle and then punched the ball out, even though they recovered it. But that was still a great play. But that was the only time he was in the backfield. I didn't see a ton of consistent
Same with LT
pressure.
too. LT
Except
got
for
around
LT. LT is about the only one that was getting consistently in the backfield.
I think it might have been around the same time when he made that play against that either left or right tackle and absolutely smacked that quarterback. It's one of the quarterback was not aware of his pocket presence whatsoever on that one. And
there were a few plays where he just held it for days.
But
and then there were some offensive plays in the second half where Milroe ran like 4, 5, 6 times in a row for not for much, or anytime he tried to break it to the outside, couldn't get around that, which Millie played a great game, and that's 5 touchdowns is nothing to sneeze at. Second time he's done that in 3 games,
right?
5 touchdowns. So I mean he's playing well. There was a lot of good things today. A lot of things we can work on as well. I agree with some of the commentary. A lot of stuff we can work on. We're definitely a major work in progress. But the penalties went from 13 to 4 from last week to this week. The turnovers went from 3 to 0. The forced turnovers went from 0 to I think 2. We had 2 turnovers today. A fumble recovery, 2 fumble recoveries, I think.
Yes.
But we forced 4 fumbles. That's cool. And then Sab dropped that pick early in the game. That was a gimme. Got to snag those. He made a nice play later where he stretched on that one and deflected, even though the guy still caught it. But he almost picked that one. Some of these picks, man, we got to start wrangling in some of these picks.
Mm-hmm.
These INTs, man, we need to keep them.
We started off the season so well with so much promise on the interception side, and then now.
Yeah, I agree. At times, our front 7 was getting pushed around, and that's disheartening to see because there's such good athletes up there and good football players up there. in that front seven. It's just, it's one of those games. Wisconsin has good linemen. They've always traditionally had good offensive linemen.
I mean, yeah, that's like them in Nebraska. When I think of them, I'm like, beefy offensive line.
Big corn-fed,
big
country white boy lineman. Big lineman. Yeah.
So I was, but I'll say this. I even said this to my dad. Seeing the size of our D line to their O line, I was like, we look pretty strong. I'll say that, or strong as we say it down the South. We looked like we fit the picture. We didn't look slow. As I said, there's plenty of things to improve on. We could beat around the bush on it. I'll say this. What was last week's score? It was what, 45-13?
42-16.
42-16
final.
Yes. This is much more legit of more indicative of the score.
Yeah.
It's not even the same stratosphere. So
I'm with you there. Well, and this game was never really a threat. Last week with 6 minutes left, it was a 5-point game. And anything can happen there. A fumble, a scoop and score, a pick six, a kick return. Anything. When you're in a one-score game, anything can happen. Before we finally put them away, but I never felt this game was ever in jeopardy. I mean, when Graham missed a field goal that would have tied it at 3, and then they go down and we stop them on 4th down, and then we score a touchdown, and then score again, and then the sequence at the end of the half was just beautiful. They missed a field goal with 29 seconds left, and we scored in 2 plays.
That was
21-3 going into half. And then scored immediately coming out
41-yard pass to Hollywood. And I'm watching this. I'm like, we got plenty of time. We'll get a field goal. Another one to Jeremy Bernard. And I'm like,
nah. And if you go back and watch that Jeremy Bernard touchdown, that's a touchdown in the NFL. I mean, he got foot and he drug his back foot. Touchdown. That's a touchdown in the league. So. That was just a beautiful throw, beautiful catch. Like you said, hits Hollywood on the first one. And if you remember, Hollywood almost broke it.
Yeah,
he got down there and he almost broke it. If he had a few more yards on that sideline, I mean, he might have pulled away. He might have pulled that one away. But he's just a difference maker. He's a difference maker. He's soft hands, man. He can catch so well, and the routes he ran, that poor number 5 for Wisconsin, man, he's going to get scholarship checked on the unofficial UA coaches breakdown. I'm pretty sure. If you didn't know his name now, you do. Yes. He is that dude. I would agree, Chris. Russaw is going to be a big loss if he's out for a significant amount of time. Fingers crossed. Maybe it's just a stinger and having a bye week will give him an extra week to heal up, and then he'll be ready to play versus Georgia. I hope. I think, is Q Robinson his backup, or is he the backup on the other side?
I think they're interchangeable, if I'm not mistaken. He can play either side.
Who the two is behind Russaw?
Keanu Cott?
Q Robinson
would it be Keanu Cott?
Or Cott?
However you say his last name.
Yeah.
Number 19. I think it may be him.
So I'm not sure.
But also we have he plays.
I think Malachi got concussed. And they didn't say, but it looked like he got concussed. Yeah. Just by the replay, I didn't back it up and watch it several times. I just saw the initial replay they showed on Fox there, which they don't show a lot of replays on Fox, which is weird.
I was very surprised.
I did like
on this.
The coverage better than ESPN. But I noticed that when they came in on that tackle, they met at that tackle, that it looked like he took a shot to the head and it concussed him. So I thought it was noticeably difference when he went out too. Although Devontae Smith played pretty well, he's a physical player. But Malachi made several plays early in that game. The forced fumble was huge.
It was perfect. That is
early in the game behind the line of scrimmage. Malachi's a baller.
You can't ask for a better way of when I saw when it coming down, I was like, oh, he's going to try and go high on this jump here. And Malachi put shoulder pads to ball placement right in his chest, and it popped it. I was like, you couldn't have played that any better.
Yeah.
It was great. So I love seeing that. I do have 2 concerns. Obviously, everybody's been talking about the defense, the defensive backs. That's probably our weakest point on the defense. Still a little concerned. I think these are very young players, obviously, but we have two true freshmen back there with Mbakwe and Red Morgan. So and
LSU just scored to take the lead, by the way.
Yep, I just saw that.
Yeah, okay. True freshman. Yeah, and then Mbakwe, he's even got out there. Bach got out there today some too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think they're going to be fantastic players. They're just very, very raw talent, very young. And, maybe by the end of the season, they could be what Caleb Downs was last year by the end of the season. We already knew that he was good. But, I mean, by week 3, when we played Texas, we knew Caleb Downs was good, but he wasn't what he was by the end of the season playing the way he was. So, hey, it's still very early. We are 3-0.
No, they just took the lead, Chris. Sorry, Parker. I don't mean to interrupt you. But LSU just took the lead. They're up 35-32. There's like a minute 12 left.
Well,
you're right, Eric. Can you believe that? I mean, South Carolina had this game all day.
Well, they also cost themselves just a little while ago. They picked off Nussmeier and took it back for a pick 6. And on the return, they hit him. They hit him on the quarterback, and they took it back. They took the 6 points off the board. And
but they kept the ball?
Yeah. So what they did is
they didn't score. Gotcha.
Yeah. So they kept the interception, but they're like, no, he hit the quarterback here. And I'm like,
somebody took a shot.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. Got to be kidding me.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah.
Although South Carolina, all they got to do is just go down there, get a field goal, take it to overtime. There's the head hog.
36-33. What is the time? 1:12 left. 36-33.
Plenty of time.
The ESU Timberwolves got to go down the field and try to tie the game. Joe Kane at quarterback. Darnell Jefferson at tailback. Any of you that have seen the program will get that. If you haven't, go watch the program.
I'm going to go.
If you watch that movie, all the scenes were filmed at South Carolina's football stadium. That's why I referenced that.
Watched it for the first time this year because thanks to old Jeff right there. And I can say, me being a football fan, it is phenomenal. Now, give it. Fantastic. It was made in the 90s. So
early 90s.
You got to take it with a grain of salt if you're not used to older movies. I've been watching movies from all the way back in the 70s before I was even born. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't.
They're both old movie buffs. Yeah, here we go. South Carolina moving. Now, South Carolina's quarterback is legit. He just got sacked there, but that
guy? No, it was something Norris. Norris?
Yeah.
He's out. Robbie Ashford's in right now. You know who Robbie Ashford is? Yeah.
There's still a Robbie Ashford sighting? Gotta be kidding me.
He is in play right now.
Oh my God.
And
Robbie Ashford.
I was listening to the broadcast, and one of the announcers
Chris,
stated,
that's that old Auburn quarterback that the boogers kept waiting for years and years for Robbie Ashford time. He did run for like 200 yards against us last year.
Oh yeah,
the year before.
Us, yeah, but we still beat him. It all worked out.
Even though we beat him, but he did have like 150 yards rushing against us a couple of years ago.
From what I heard, the announcer said that their passing game is over when Ashford went in the game. I was like, yeah they're not going to be able to pass because
that's funny. Oh, is he from Hoover, Eric? I didn't realize he was from Hoover. I did not know that. Yes, we need Robbie. We need good Ashford. Pretend you're playing Alabama, Robbie. That's all you got to do. Yes, we're all Ashford fans today, Eric. I agree. Yeah. They gave LSU the game back. I mean, they had them. It was 17-0. They had them. Come on.
That's where you have one of those.
Frank Beamer.
That's why you have what you call it? One of those little gifts or whatever of Adam Sandler from Billy Madison.
Yeah.
You blew it. Just blew it. Done. Yeah. What a sad.
Got Eli Holstein action as well. Pitt and Who were they playing? West Virginia and Pitt.
I'm all in Pitt.
Eli Holstein. He's actually had a pretty good year so far.
All for them. I want Pitt to do very well. Was up there this past weekend, as we've already talked about on our Thursday episode. And we were on that Saturday. Pitt came back and won that game. And I had a couple Pitt alumni in there wearing their Pitt gear, and they saw my Bama gear. And we started talking about it. Oh, yeah. And we just started talking games, started talking football. And I was like, y'all got a transfer quarterback from Alabama whom I love, Eli Holstein.
You're right. South Carolina driving.
They should be able to drive against this defense. They are just not improved.
LSU defense is not.
I had hope that they were going to improve.
35 seconds. 35 seconds. Can they do it here? Oh, Ashford's off and running. He's off and running. Oh, gets to the field goal marker. Nice.
Keep running the ball. How many
timeouts? Yep, South Carolina has one timeout. 26 seconds to go.
Well, you pass.
They call it, or they get a first down. The clock stopped. First down. That's big time here. South Carolina trying to win it. Screw tying it, he said. We ain't trying to tie nothing. We're gonna win this thing. Like we should have done already since we were up 17 points.
One shot. Oh, awful throw into the dirt. Good Lord.
They're showing the non-football player warming up on the sideline, getting ready to decide the game. Love when non-football players decide football games. It's my favorite thing.
Hey, we had plenty of that with old Will.
As much as I love Will Too Real, I can't stand field goal kicking.
Most points of in college football history, right there.
A gimmick play. It's just gimmicky, and they're not football players. Here we go. 2nd and 10. Ashford. They run it up the middle for a gain of a yard.
And he bounced left to the right.
Trying to win nothing. We're going for the tie here. I'm going to trust my non-football player kicker, and I'm not going to try nothing crazy. All right, they call a timeout. LSU has 2 timeouts. They'll probably call them both to ice the kicker. What do you like that strategy, Parker?
I do.
Icing the kicker.
Even though it's an old terminology and an old strategy, I still think it's a mental game. It really is. Yeah. And if you could just any kind of little moment like that, anything you could get into their head, yeah, I would do it. Absolutely 100%. Now, does it work? I don't know the statistics on that or the analytical data, but hey, I'll do it. I don't care.
49-yard attempt. Wow. He set his kicker up for a 49-yarder there by running it up the middle for no gain on the last play.
Let's see.
You're right.
He's going to choke and miss us.
Oh, man. Who's going to call the timeout? Is old Kelly going to, and his family going to call the timeout?
My family down here.
Here they go. And timeout. I told you. He kicked it anyway and missed it. All right, you got your miss out of the way.
And it's gone. It's over.
He missed the crap out of that practice kick. You're right, Chris. I mean, the guy's got to be pushing Ron Dane's career yardage record, right? I mean, he's been there since 2004.
Pretty sure he played with Alex Collins while he was at Arkansas.
Hey, Alex Collins will forever be an Alabama legend.
I love that guy. Oh, that play
against Ole Miss.
100%. Absolutely. R.I.P. The dude was legit.
Yeah, R.I.P. for Alex Collins. True. They gonna call another one? Another timeout?
What do they call it? I don't think so. If they do, I mean, he's just doing it just to do it.
He's gonna miss it. He's so gonna miss this.
Yeah. I don't think
I picked South Carolina in the. Here he goes. And the snap, the spot, the kick. Oh, he's hooking it. He missed it. He missed that one too.
Game over.
Oh, you suck. LSU snuck out of there with a win.
You suck. You jackass.
Yeah, Lee, the non-football player cost him the game. How about that?
Well, honestly, I don't know how much. That's just a complete meltdown by South Carolina. Good Lord Almighty.
That thing hung up in the air for days, and then it finally hooked. Oh, Brian Kelly, man.
Talk about
escapes
my
with another
plan.
one. The master, the Harry Houdini, the escape artist.
Oh.
Oh well. Oh well. He tucked down there to the left. Ah, dang, that sucks. Do they even let kickers in the locker room since they're not football players? Do they have to like go around the outside of the building to their car and like drive back to their dorm? They even get to go there and change.
Well, it's going for the reaction today. They're probably going to treat him, give him the old Joe Flacco or Falco treatment.
Shane Falco.
Shane Falco treatment. Just flip his truck.
Joe Flacco.
You knew who I meant. I'm sorry. Shane Falco and Joe Flacco. One's a legit quarterback.
This is a wonderful question because Autry sucks, man. That guy is hot garbage. But they always get these games of the week. Autry's always out there. His games of the week. He's probably going to get the Georgia Bama game, and then that'll be DeBoer's first go round with Autry.
Lovely.
I don't think we've had him in a game this year. I know, of course he does. Loses a couple he shouldn't lose each year, and wins a couple he shouldn't win. Golly. Oh well. That's a shame.
On to the next.
That's a shame.
Well, all right,
Who's
guys.
Oregon playing?
They're Oregon State.
Oregon State, gotcha.
Washington is playing Washington State, and Oregon's playing Oregon.
Hold up. That total? Or 22 for South Carolina? Or is that 22 total? If that's 22 for South Carolina, geez. I hope that's 22 total. But yeah, and then, okay. All right, cool. Gotcha. Yeah, and then, was that you, Parker, talking about that pick six they called back because they hit the quarterback?
Yep. And that was probably about 4.5 minutes left in the game.
Come on.
They would have gone up by 11.
Were they blocking him or somebody just went out of their way to hit the quarterback because it was an interception?
They went out of their way to hit him. Damn. It wasn't even like he wasn't even going to make a play.
That's a shame.
and if it wasn't for it being Nussmeier, I actually really like the kid. So I have obviously some, I guess some feelings toward him because of his dad being our OC about 10 years ago. I think the kid's great. He comes from a football family. So I didn't think that was a right hit, but such is life. That's what happens.
You're right. You're right. You said such is life. That's what happens. You're absolutely right.
But that's all I got, man. And I'm about to have to
that
roll here soon.
I mean, that was a good win for Bam. I mean, that was a good win for Bama. That was what we needed to do to go on the road, dominate physically. I thought we physically dominated them on the offensive line. Like we said, we got some issues to fix on defense. Too many drives, too many long play drives. I meant like too many 15-plus play drives. I got Texas A&M. Florida is hot garbage. Napier is gone by week 6, I think. And then Galesh from South Florida will be hired to coach Florida next year. That's just what I think is going to happen. Nothing to base that off of other than just my gut. But I think Texas A&M wins that game. But I think this was a great lead in to the bye week, the official end of the preseason. These 3 preseason games where we get some things ironed out, head into the bye week next week, and then get ready for week 1 versus Georgia on the 28th at Bryant-Denny Stadium, at Nick Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Indeed.
But this was the perfect game that we needed to come on the road, dominate, because we dominated that game. Wisconsin moved the ball, but that game was never in jeopardy. Alabama was never close to losing that game. And so I thought that was a very good tune-up, for a big home game against Georgia. And we need to see, I want to see us now against the cream of the crop. I want to see Ryan Williams on the field against somebody of Georgia's caliber, with athletes of Georgia's caliber. I want to see if he's ready to compete with guys at that level, which I think he is. I mean, the kid's something about this kid, but I think he is. So I'm ready to see that. And let's face it, Georgia's the measuring stick. I mean, that's the measuring stick, right?
Agreed. 100%. 100%.
So anyway, well, Parker, man, I appreciate you hopping in on this instant reaction clip. Enjoyed breaking down with you the instant game. So hopefully next week, if you're not going to the game, we can try to line this up again and get, or not next week, but 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
If you don't wind up in Tuscaloosa for that game, we can break this down again after that game. So
I would probably most likely lean toward yes. That's most likely going to be the case that I can jump on, because if you have anybody out there who's seeing those ticket prices out there, you might as well next be investing in gold, because that's how much it's worth.
that's right.
And then you're not even including the hotel costs. So anybody who goes to it, enjoy. I hope you have a good time. I'm going to be watching it on TV.
Well, thanks everyone in the chat for commenting and for joining the discussion. Thanks everyone for tuning in, wherever you may have tuned in. If you catch this later, we appreciate it. Anyway, so until next time, roll Tide, and as always, Lank.
Roll Tide.